What if I told you today we're not just looking at stars, we're actually traveling outside the universe itself? Buckle up because this cosmic road trip gets wild and we dive right in.
You wake up for a regular day of your regular life. You feed your cat, pour your coffee, and check your phone. Nothing unusual. It's then that you realize something horrifying. The universe is 95% invisible. Excuse me? Everything you've seen, touched, or smelled, your house, your dog, your 3 a.m. snack, makes up less than 5% of what actually exists. The rest? Well, dark matter that holds the universe together like glue, and dark energy that fuels its endless expansion, just like the Roman Empire used to. Sounds unimaginable, right? Well, it is. Because of this, you want to find out what actually happens in the universe as well as outside of it. Like any reasonable person facing an existential crisis, you build a spaceship. Not just any spaceship. A spaceship capable of letting you leave the universe. At least, that's the plan. Whether or not your meat sack form can physically escape is a separate question. You may well just be shredded into atoms during the process. Maybe.
So the plan is casually build a spaceship to leave the universe. Love the confidence. Like, sure, I can't even assemble IKEA furniture without an existential crisis, but let's go dismantle the cosmos. The wild part is that 95% of reality is basically dark mystery goo. Dark matter plus dark energy. Scientists literally call it dark because they have no clue. Imagine if your landlord said, yeah, 95% of your apartment is invisible, but trust me, it's holding the walls up.
But your spaceship is pretty amazing, so who cares about that anyway? You're about to go on a 46.5 billion light-year journey. That's the radius of the observable universe. Because while the universe is only 13.8 billion years old, it has kept on expanding and expanding. However, that's just what we can see. Beyond that, it might be even bigger, maybe infinite. Either way, your starting point is Earth, which is in the middle of the universe, technically. Why? Because no matter where you start in the universe, it would be considered the middle. Space is the same whichever way you want to go. So pick a direction, any direction. You fire up the engines and leave Earth behind in a trail of flames. You've broken up your journey into 4 steps in order to find the edge and, of course, escape. Step 1. Get outside the solar system. That's easy enough because you need to charge your engines and, of course, pick up a lot of speed. So you go around the sun to begin, you take a quick gravitational slingshot around Jupiter, you wave to Saturn's rings as you fly by, and before you know it, you're speeding past Pluto and towards the Oort cloud, the graveyard of ancient comets and rocks marking the outskirts of the solar system.
46.5 billion light years, and people complain about road trips to their in-laws. The best part? Earth is technically in the middle of the universe, which sounds like a kid trying to win an argument. I'm not lost. The universe is just centered on me. The gravitational slingshot move around Jupiter is also peak NASA efficiency, basically using a planet as cosmic bumper pool, and then boom, past Pluto into the Oort cloud, also known as the universe's garage sale of dusty ice balls.
Step 2. Now we are in the Milky Way. Well, we were in the Milky Way always, but we need to find a way out. This is where things get a little bit tricky. Your ship dodges rogue planets and black holes, large clusters of stars, you see another civilization just starting out, how cute, and also a huge amount of gas. You drift upward beyond the plane and glowing arms of the galaxy. You take a moment to admire the 400 or so billion stars. You are now officially outside of the Milky Way. Well, anyway, you go full throttle. The ship accelerates to 99.99999. You know what? This close to the speed of light. It's exhilarating, but also disorientating because the faster you go, the weirder space and time gets. In reality, at this speed, your journey would only take a few weeks, maybe months. But the universe, that would age the 46.5 billion years that you need to travel. So, your cat won't be alive when you return, unfortunately. You curse relativity for time dilation, you pour one out for snuggles, and after a quick nap, you finally reach the section of gas walls and voids of dark matter, the place where galaxies are so close together, they become string cheese and spiderwebs. Yes, literally this shit. If it still looks like this, that is. The region was formed when the universe was only 2 to 3 billion years old, and you know, we can't teleport. Yet. The string cheese zone is made up of trillions of stars within galaxies, colliding, forming, talking, sparring, doing acrobatics.
I love the humor here. Galaxies actually sparring like they're in some cosmic kung fu movie. Perfect. One's throwing haymakers, the other's doing flips, and in reality, this is just gravity tug of war, but the goofy animation makes it look like a galactic slap fight. The whole string cheese universe suddenly feels less terrifying science and more like Looney Tunes with star systems, space MMA, but with trillions of glowing spectators inside each fighter.
Yeah, that happens when stars are born 20 to 30 times more often than when you're living on Earth. But you need a way through, and fortunately you see a huge gap of absolute nothingness in front of you. It is your way past this creepy place. To get through this region, you need to go much faster than the speed of light now. Theoretically impossible, but you do it because this is a video on YouTube. So no need to comment on that, okay, Timmy? Thank you. The cost of going the speed of light means you violated the laws of physics and ruined time. This leads you to step 3, but with some changes to your original plan. Now, instead of having to manually travel to your destination, like a car driving to the movies, you can teleport thanks to your violation of time. That's the good news. The bad news, yeah, you're not traveling to the edge of the universe, but you're just going back in time. What this means is instead of physically traveling in the universe, you simply traveled back in time to when it was a baby, the early universe, when it was about 800 million years old only. Oops. And it's kinda dusty around here with only a few ancient galaxies. Now that you're at the beginning of the universe, it should be much easier, however, to actually find the edge. See, the Big Bang wasn't an explosion, it was an expansion, like a balloon being blown up by an elephant sneezing. But imagine that balloon expanded faster than the speed of light. Hell of a sneeze. That means if you just keep going back in time some more, you'll find a moment when the universe was so small you can see an edge, or perhaps didn't even exist, so you can just be on the outside.
The gag here is genius. Break physics once and suddenly you've unlocked space teleportation DLC, except the catch is you've basically rage quit reality and respawned in baby universe mode. Love how the video treats violating time like forgetting to validate your parking ticket, no biggie.
You teleport in time some more with this goal in mind. Then when it was about 300 to 500 million years old, you see the first stars and galaxies. It was pretty. A little underdeveloped though, like if a toddler drew them. Compared to the Milky Way now, the galaxies were also very blue. Weird. Step 4. You move back further in time, but you realize that you have entered a zone before stars were formed. Mostly. And so it is literally dark with zero lights. Basically the original Dark Ages. Not like this one. Here, when the universe was only 50 million years old, it's just you and some cold hydrogen atoms flying around. And maybe a weird star. You tell the universe that it's okay because you know exactly what this is like. The first pancake you make, it just doesn't come out right. But wait, what's that you see in the distance on your ship's scanner? And with your eyes? A red glow? An edge perhaps? Will you be able to finally teleport outside of the universe? You push deeper in time. At 2 million years old, the universe itself glows red hot, not from stars, but from the fading heat of the Big Bang. Hot hydrogen glowing invisible light that human eyes can't see. Red everywhere. We're getting close now. One final step, one more teleport. You arrive! The original cosmic microwave background, the source of the red glow you just saw. It's the leftover radiation from the Big Bang when the universe was only 380,000 years old. It is also a portion of the static on your television back on Earth. Well, if you have an old-style television set, and it is only 1%, but that is a fact. However, you don't see an obvious way to keep teleporting back in time. You see, the universe was filled with what can only be called some kind of opaque plasma soup. There's no way through. You literally could not see anything. However, you wanted to travel outside the universe, and there just doesn't seem to be a way using time teleportation. And even if the universe is physically smaller, you want to physically leave and not just go back in time. You think for a few minutes, at least you think they are minutes, and now you know what you have to do. You also need to be able to control gravity. You take your suit off, you open the spaceship doors, and you walk outside. You feel the raw power of the physics that control the universe. It kills you immediately and without hesitation in the most excruciating way possible. But something remarkable happens afterwards. You open your eyes and suddenly, you don't just see the universe, you feel it. Space bends under your will, time slows when you command it, you reach out and gravity itself obeys you. You have become a 5-dimensional being.
The whole buildup is hilarious. Galaxies drawn like toddler doodles, the first pancake universe, and then suddenly cosmic static on your grandma's TV. Peak goofy science metaphor energy. And then the video just says, step out the spaceship, die horribly, respawn as a 5-dimensional being. Like, excuse me? That's not science, that's an anime villain origin story. 1 second you're lost in plasma soup, the next you're bending gravity like it's a fidget spinner.
Wowza. You name yourself Gravipull because, look at you. We have now seen the known facts of the history of the universe, and we simply can't go back in time further. That means we need to explore the theories of the shape of the universe to see if we can actually, potentially, travel outside of it. This is where the fun begins. If the universe is infinite, you could run forever in any direction and just never arrive anywhere because there would be no edge. But if it isn't, you would need to know what shape the universe really is in order to find out if there is an escape hatch. Is it a sphere, a cube, a big baboon butt? It's time to try a few things. Attempt number 1. To begin, let's hypothetically start back at Earth. If you keep moving on a flat universe, as it appears, and perhaps it's like a ball, you'll end up back where you started. Imagine if you were a dung beetle walking on a ball of dung, but it's huge. To him, a beautiful flat surface of poo. For you, a sphere. Wait, you're back at Earth, where you started? You try again. And again. And again. Alright, all you've learned is that the universe isn't a ball, it's just most likely shaped like a donut. Well, not quite, because the real 4-dimensional shape could not be handled by human minds. Why? Because when you leave one end, you come back around the other, like an intense game of Miss Pac-Man. Except this means the universe is flat everywhere, whereas for the dung beetle example, it would always end up being curved at some point. If you were Gravipull and could actually look at the universe from the outside. Which you are, and which is what you're trying to do.
Gravipull has to be the funniest cosmic rebrand ever, like Deadpool, but with extra space-time drippings. The Miss Pac-Man analogy seals it though, running through the cosmos, gobbling galaxies, popping out the other side. It's equal parts deep physics and arcade nostalgia, which honestly feels like the most accurate description of existence.
This is of course one of the ideas humans have, but in this case that means the universe isn't infinite and doesn't have an actual edge to escape. Time for a different approach. Attempt number 2. You spot a decently sized black hole who has just finished launching on some stars, and you have an absolute genius idea. What if these guys are wormholes? Exit doors of the universe. You approach, and things start getting weird. Time slows, space bends, the laws of physics start to look a little bit optional. Fortunately for you, they are optional. No spaghettification for you, unlike that star over there. Yikes. You get closer, until, instead of being crushed into oblivion, like say every physicist predicted, you find yourself seeing an exit that isn't the same way you came in. Oh no! You have exited a white hole, the opposite of black holes. They spit instead of swallow. But due to the fact these are theoretical and impossible in the universe, you realize that you must have entered another one. No, you did. Is the physics of this place, however, different? Yes. Gravity repels instead of attracting here. But wait, that's not good for you. Oh dear. You must go back to your universe before you die. You use your higher dimensional powers and end up where you started. Phew. Okay, so this tiny black hole doesn't work, but you realize what happened. You technically left the universe, but then you landed inside another one. However, you want to travel outside of both of these. So what if we increase the size of the black holes to see what happens, and maybe, just maybe, this will take you outside the universe. Attempt number 3. You begin. Oh. Hey, this place looks familiar. Oh my god! Ouch.
The black hole idea feels like peak dumb genius energy. Oh sure, let's just treat a cosmic blender as an exit door. Love how physics casually flips the switch here. Normally, crushed into spaghetti. This time, nope, you glitch into a white hole, which is basically the universe spitting you back out like bad takeout.
Okay, so these aren't working to help you escape the universe, and instead you're just ending up in ridiculous other ones. You're getting annoyed, you just want to go outside of the universe, and clearly the size of the black hole must be much, much bigger, because you have no other ideas. You locate the largest one within your universe you know as home, Ton 618, a monster at 66 billion times the mass of the sun and 100 trillion times brighter. That means you need to put on 100 pairs of sunglasses and you enter his mouth as he feasts on a super red giant gigastar, which is just like an M&M for him. The inside of this black hole is unlike anything you've experienced so far. It's calm, silent, but then you see it. No, not a spider or Spider-Man, the theoretical doorway deep within a black hole that will finally allow you to leave the universe. You make your move, you aim precisely, and as you pass through, you feel something new. Like when you were a teenager and you saw your French teacher for the first time, until she failed you. You see brains. No, not the one inside your head, apart from you, Timmy. Brains, like 2D sheets of paper universes. Congratulations, you've done it. You are traveling outside all of the universes you have been in.
Okay, real talk. I have no idea what the hell is going on anymore. 1 second it's tiny black holes, then boom, you're technically outside the universe, but also inside another one. Now we're resizing cosmic garbage disposals like it's a video game slider menu, and then suddenly, cut to some bizarre, probably naked figure with dramatic music. This feels less like astrophysics and more like a fever dream directed by Adult Swim at 3 a.m.
If string theory were to be true, which for this video we will pretend is the case. Because imagine trying all the other ideas that could be true. But yes, the brains look like this because you are in higher dimensions. All of the universe are organized into what's called a bulk, and between them, hyperspace, where only beings of your higher dimensional nature can observe. Theoretically. All the brains are really close. They could collide. Oh wait, they can collide. As you welcome yourself to the universe and hope that there was no intelligent life on one of the universes that just collided, you realize that each one has its own rules, physics, and probably some very confused species. Some universes might have stronger gravity, some might be made entirely of light, and some might not have stars at all, and at least one of them is probably ruled by hyper-intelligent tardigrades. Theoretically. But this is what gets you thinking. That was kinda easy. What if traveling outside the universe and seeing the multiverse wasn't even real? What if the universe is simply a 3D hologram projected from a 2D surface at the edge of reality?
And just like that, we've gone from baby pancakes and string cheese galaxies to crashing universes together like clumsy Lego bricks. String theory's multiverse bulk feels like a cosmic filing cabinet where every drawer runs on its own weird laws of physics. One drawer's gravity, another's light, maybe one's just dinosaurs running IT departments. And then, bam, the big twist. What if this whole sprawling multiverse carnival is just a 3D hologram projected from some 2D surface? Reality reduced to the world's most complicated screensaver. Mind-bending, terrifying, hilarious, exactly how it should be. Gravipull did an amazing job with this video. The link is in the description. Next time, let's just say things are gonna get even stranger. Stay nerdy.